our project focuses on viruses. And these data, all these data we collect from the field, we then bring back to analyze and to model for potential risk factors and barriers and drivers of spillover events that can occur, because you need all these data to be able to understand how spillover occurs. I think what is interesting, maybe something that we can get to in the end of the project, is that we can try to develop some kind of forecasting system or some kind of surveillance system of upstream spillover events, so that we can prevent. So we're really talking about pandemic prevention or epidemic prevention. So I think that's a really important part of the project, and hopefully we'll be able to contribute to spillover prevention, surveillance and control.
PANDASIA project aims to basically study the pandemic preparedness and identify the drivers of these transmissions, particularly in Thailand and in the Asia context. And this is definitely an important element of the epidemiological studies. We also try to use the data that's collected in Thailand and try to provide some knowledge for the local stakeholders or local populations, and also using the intervention to feed back our knowledge to the local communities. We hope that we could, by using this type of approach, we could help the public health intervention policy and the knowledge or awareness buildings, both in the local community and also in the higher levels of policy makers.
So what this project is doing here in Thailand is it's looking at how people are interacting with specific animals in their environment and trying to understand what leads to infections going from those animals to people that can cause harm, in particular pandemics in the future. At the same time, it's trying to understand how we can live more sustainably in this environment, and including communities and local knowledge, and to come up with solutions to how we can live more sustainably here in part of Thailand. And I think it's a brilliant model for other places.
We're using mathematical models to understand drivers and mechanisms of how spillover works, so the zoonotic transmission of pathogens. And here we validate these mathematical models against biological and social data. And with these validated models, we can then learn more about how zoonotic spillover works in, for instance, Thailand.
Since PANDASIA project is working in communities, and this project has been designed for people who should be prepared for future pandemics. And therefore, we use evidence-based information to change their mindset, to change their behavior, empower them, as well as looking at how policymakers can motivate them to look at what they need in the community and be prepared for future pandemics.
For us, who are working with the aspect of health, we can recognize them in many roles, such as some kinds of wild animal. They are harbor pathogen and parasite that can do harm for us. And sometimes we can count the invertebrates as the vectors of some diseases that cause us to be very unhealthy or have some illness. But all of those wild animals, they have their role in the ecosystem. So if we can understand their role, what are they doing in the ecosystem, what are their functions, and we can leave them to do their roles naturally in their own function or the niche, so we can stay with them harmoniously.
This project aims to foster proactive measures to reduce viral transmission risk. So This project focuses on the virus with pandemic relating with the several critical areas is crucial because the consequence of pandemic can be severe and affect to not only to the public health but also to the ecology and social structure. So by understanding and also assessing about the factors that contribute to viral emergence, PANDASIA aims to enhance the global preparedness and respond to the pandemic risk threat in the future.
We would like to inform the community of the richness, of diversity of the wildlife living with them and around them, so they know what kind of good service these wildlife give to them and what kind of threats that these wildlife can provide to their health. So with the ultimate goal of the One Health approach from the One Health high-level expert panel, PANDASIA would like to also contribute to the goal of the healthy ecosystems, healthy animals, and healthy people.
In PANDASIA project, we investigate the animal pathogen in rat and bat as a wild animal, and we investigate in secondary wildlife like a squirrel or a wild boar, like a intermediate host between wild and domestic. And so we put the focus on the domestic animal, including dogs and cats, especially dog in the forest age habitat that they free roaming between forest and human habitat. Yes, this is like a jigsaw or small piece to relate the overall image of the wild animal, secondary wildlife, and domestic animal to do the complete pathogen big picture of One Health, including human.
So we can measure the pathogens as the biodiversity on another aspect as well. So that together diversity of the host and biodiversity of the pathogens inside the project could contribute in terms of project data modeling, data analysis later, and come up with something that we can implement and translate to the local communities properly. Yeah.
So in PANDASIA, we're using invertebrates to meet two objectives. So the first one, we look at the role of mosquitoes in the transmission of pathogens. And the second one is we're using flies as a way to sample DNA, we call this iDNA, from the environment to find out about different animals which are using the environment, and it kind of supplements the trapping that's done by the wildlife team in our study. So through PANDASIA, we should be able to find out about the different pathogens which are being transmitted at the different interfaces, which are vector-borne, so transmitted by mosquitoes, and then also about the different animal species at these interfaces, because we can identify the host in the fly samples that we collect, and then also in any blood-fed specimens that we get. And we use blood-fed mosquitoes to also be able to build up a picture of a transmission pathway. So when the mosquito feeds, we can identify the host that it fed on, and then learn more about their behavior and in the way that they will transmit the pathogen on.
Overall, the PANDASIA research in Thailand emphasizes interconnectedness of environmental factor and health. It also aims to create sustainable practices that mitigate the risk of zoonotic disease and promote ecological system integrity.